So the first question was, at what point do we sample the CSOs?
Did you take into consideration time? The variability in consideration time?
Well, we did take into consideration, the peak, when the peak time would be. I would like to say we utilized as our consultant a guy that worked for 20 years for the city, with the CSOs, and had very good information on how, where the CSOs peaked and characteristics of the CSOs. We also sampled all of the CSOs, that the most significant, the ones that were discharging the biggest amount. What was the last question?
The second question was whether there was a difference among them, were some that were worse and some that were not so bad.
Yeah.
I believe they were, and there were different characteristics. I mean, yes, they were. I mean, I have, for example, in mind one CSO that had unusually high concentrations of PAHs, and so I do have in mind that other CSOs had in the sediment higher levels of PCB. So we're going to look individually at the CSOs and to see if we can define, if we can locate the sources of those of the loadings of those chemicals to the CSOs.
Third question now.
What was the third question?
Whether at the end of this process is there still going to be raw sewage coming in during a rain event?
Yeah.
Or at halftime.
The answer is yes.
Yes, it will.
The question was whether at the end of this whole process, is there still from time to time going to be raw sewage coming into the canal when there's a rain event? And the answer is probably yes.
Why?
Why? Well, we have to evaluate this, and everybody understands that the work that the city is now doing and has now been obliged to do under the consent order that it has with the state of New York is not sufficient to achieve the regulatory and legal standards. There's no question about it. Nobody from the city or the state or the federal government has any doubt about that. It is going to be a significant improvement. They predict that the 34% reduction in the amount of CSO per year will be associated with this work, but that still leaves 2/3. It still leaves an awful lot of sewage coming in. So, there has always been understood that this isn't getting you to the finish line, and that in all likelihood there will come a time when more work has to be done. The question that we have to face in the Superfund program is, what are the toxic contaminants that are coming out of the CSOs, the PAHs, the PCBs, the metals, and how can they be controlled? It is EPA's water program and the state's water program that are primarily concerned with trying to get the point of the water quality to meet water quality standards.